Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In John chapter 9, Jesus and his disciples come across a man who was born blind. And this provokes a question by the disciples directed towards Jesus. They say, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he would be born blind?" They want to know, what is the cause of suffering in this man's life? Is it because he himself sinned and therefore he has to deal with this blindness, or is it because his parents sinned and they're being punished by having a child born blind? Why is it that this man is suffering? What is the source? And of course, under their own presuppositions, they're already saying what they think it might be. It was the cause of sin in somebody's life, but nonetheless, they're wanting to find what is the source of this suffering. And Jesus gives a very profound answer, and I think this applies to our lives even today. In verse 3, Jesus answered, "It was neither that this man sinned nor his parents, but it was so that the works of God might be displayed in him." So it wasn't that this man sinned, nor was it the case that his parents sinned. This was an opportunity for God to display his works in him. As you go on and read the story, we'll find that Jesus heals him of his blindness. And God's works are able to be displayed through Jesus, which brings validity to Jesus and his ministry. And it's all done because this man was born blind. And so, no, it wasn't because of sin. It was for this other purpose. And a lot of the times when we encounter sufferings, hardships, trials, whatever the case may be, we could say the same thing. If we enter into those trials and difficulties, sufferings, whatever it might be, with the right attitude, if we step into those trials in faith and in commitment and devotion to God, it might very well be the case that the sufferings that we go through will also result in the works of God being displayed. Now, the actual reason for those sufferings might vary. It might be for different reasons that we're going through the sufferings. Maybe because God's building character in us. Maybe it's because of some greater good that he's trying to accomplish. Maybe it's to steer the course of human history in the right direction. There could be a lot of reasons why we're suffering, but whatever the case may be, and we could add, maybe it is because of the sins that we've committed through the Lord's discipline, but whatever the suffering might be, we can, if we respond to these sufferings in the right way, be the means by which God's work can be displayed in us. In Romans chapter 8 and verse 28, you have that famous verse that says, "And we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose." There's that word work. He says, we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God. God is at work in our lives. And as we submit to him and respond to him in the hardships and the trials, if it's because of a sin we've committed, if we respond in repentance and confession, that would display God's work in that he is directing us or steering us back onto the righteous paths once again. If it's for some other type of reason, as he builds within us strength, as he builds within us character, as he causes his peace to abide in us in a way that's unexplainable. When he gives us this inward strength that is unexplainable by any other way except for the fact that God is giving us and supplying us that strength, his works are being displayed. And of course, his works are being displayed when outwardly in our circumstances, he makes a way for us. When he causes us to be able to pass through the waters, be able to pass through the boulders and the mountains that stand in our way. When in our circumstances, he delivers us and gives us the victory. There's a lot of different ways in which God's works can be displayed. And oftentimes his works are displayed the most when it's in the context of suffering and when it's in the context of trials and hardships. And so as we think about and reflect on why it might be that we're suffering, why is it that we are dealing with whatever it is that we're dealing with, maybe the answer to that question is the same as the answer to the question in connection to this man who is born blind. Maybe it is so that the works of God might be displayed in us. And that's what we should be looking for every time we encounter these things. Whether it's just a minor inconvenience during the day, whether it's the day-to-day troubles and difficulties, or it's the larger things, we should always be looking for what is God working in this, and what can God work out of this in a way that he will be glorified. And I think maybe that will help us at least have some perspective as we go through the trials, as we go through the darkness, as we go through the suffering. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.